So this is going to be a support video for translating lines 1 to 11 of the Aeneid. Hopefully I'll be diagramming as we go. It sort of depends on the technology. So we start off with Arma virumque quano, Troiae qui primus arboris Italiam fato profugus Laviniaque venit litera. So a long first chunk, but Arma and virumque started off, they're going to be your object. Kano is your verb. I sing of arms and the man. Troiae is a little tricky. It's a genitive. It's actually going to go ahead up here with oris, which you'll see. The man who, so notice virum and qui go together. Qui is just a nominative, and so it's going to be your subject. The man who, also nominative primus, who first, arboris, from the shores, and then you go back to that of Troy, genitive, from the shores of Troy. Italiam, there's actually an ad implied here. So ad Italiam, to Italy. And then fato profugus, notice fato is ablative. It's a thing, so it can't be dative. And then profugus, nominative, just like the qui. These are all connected. It's the man who first, from the shores of Troy, ad Italy, so to Italy. Profugus, exiled. Fato, how was he exiled? He was exiled by fate. And Laviniaque venit litera. And he came to the Lavinian shores. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. Multum here is just an adverb. So just meaning much. That guy, he's going to be our subject, and he is also the man referred to here, the qui referred to here, the primus, the profugus, all of these words go together. That guy, much, et teres iactatus et alto. So these are ablative, and this is also an ablative, and they're both going with iactatus. So you can just bracket this whole chunk. So he, that guy, notice it's nominative ille, and iactatus also nominative. So that guy, having been tossed much, and then these are the places that he's been tossed, both on lands and on the sea. Now we scroll down to vi superum. So vi is an ablative form. Superum is short for superorum. So he having been tossed much, both on the lands and on the sea. Vi superorum, by the force, by the strength. Superorum, this is just a genitive, and this is that syncopated form. So when it drops the or out of it, so of the gods. Now this part is really tricky. Notice psi is genitive, and it goes with eunonis. Memorem is accusative, and it goes with eram. And so ob is a preposition, so you take the next word, which happens to be an accusative. So if you quickly look at this, it's ob eram because of the anger. What kind of anger? It's a mindful anger, and then you get your two genitives. Of Juno. What kind of Juno are we talking about? The savage kind. So having been tossed both on the lands and on the sea by the strength of the gods because of the mindful anger of savage Juno. And this whole next part is its own little clause. And I hope the one color thing isn't throwing people off. And passus, nominative. So notice all these nominatives are referring to the same person. Aeneas here, but so far we just know him as the man. So he, having suffered, passus, many things, this is an accusative, and it's neuter, accusative plural. Having suffered many things also, and in war. Ablative. Dum conderet urbem. Inferet Deus latio. Dum, while, or until, Condret your verb until, sorry, I'm having a hard time circling, until he might find, or found rather, found the city, or a city, and inferret. And bring the deos, accusative, the gods, latio. This is called a dative of direction. So to latium. Still all the same sentence here. To latium, unde, from which, genus, latinum, genus is neuter, so it's going to just be your subject. So from which the Latin race and this nominative here, the Alban fathers, and this is a really tricky part that people always get confused on, and the walls, right? Altai, what word does altai go with? It doesn't go with moenia, even though it would make sense to say the high walls. It's actually the walls of lofty Rome, and this is what's called a transferred epithet. So we're going to switch to lines 8 to 11. If you need to look at this again, just pause it. Okay. So muse, this is vocative here. Mihi causas memora. Remind, this is a command, imperative. That's your verb. Remind the causes, the reasons. Mihi, to me. And you can either take this as an ablative absolute or an ablative of cause. So because of, this is all ablative though. Because of what, leso, perfect passive participle, what injured divinity, or with what divinity having been injured, or, where just means or dolens, notice this is nominative, or grieving what, and that's going to be your accusative, or grieving what, and dolens is a participle, it just describes Regina, nominative, nominative, or grieving what did the queen, deum is actually deorum, so just a genitive, did the queen of the gods, and then you have tot volvere casus insignem pietate virum tot adire labores impulerit. So the queen of the gods, something, you're waiting for a verb to deal with this infinitive volvere. You actually have it down here, impulerit. So grieving what did the queen of the gods, notice this is perfect subjunctive. Grieving what did the queen of the gods force somebody, we're not quite sure yet, volvere, to undergo tot casus, so many misfortunes. And now we find who the object of who did she force. A insignem pietate virum, a marked virum, a marked man, or rather a man marked, then here you have an ablative. And often this happens where a word that explains an adjective is sandwiched in between. So a man marked by piety. So or grieving what did the queen of the gods force a man marked by piety to undergo so many misfortunes? To adire, to approach, to go to so many sufferings. Tantine animis celestibus irae. So imagine, imagine a sunt implied here. This is nominative, this is nominative, these are connected. Are so great the angers, and so again is your verb, are so great the angers animis celestibus, for the heavenly spirits, the heavenly beings, the heavenly minds, the minds of the gods. So are the angers, the rages, so great for the heavenly spirits. Okay, so that's line 1 to 11. Hopefully that made sense, and you can give me some feedback on whether this video worked for you. Thanks.